Yes, there is one thing that your wife is always right about. I'm Leslie Dories, your marriage coach, and I got a comment on a blog post that I wrote a while ago where the man wrote that he believes that I think women are always right and men are always wrong. And if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that that is not true. I do not believe that. I don't believe that anybody is right all of the time. But there is one thing that your wife is right about, as well as you're right about, as well as I'm right about. And that one thing is how she is feeling. Now, I get it because sometimes it's very difficult to understand what is behind those feelings. You don't feel the same way. I might not feel the same way in the same situation, but the truth of the matter is she feels this way. And being able to have her feelings acknowledged, please make clear, I'm not saying that you have to share those feelings, but having her feelings acknowledged makes her feel seen and heard and loved. And I know that if you're one of the multitudinous good husbands out there, you want her to feel that way. Now, again, I'm saying her feelings may not make sense to you. Her feelings are a function of her life experiences, starting from the moment she drew breath to the moment she's sitting across from you on the kitchen table, right? Feelings are not useless. They are actually very informative. But and what happens is it's not the feeling itself that is problematic. It's the behavior associated with it. Now, sometimes that behavior is hers, and sometimes that behavior is yours. Because one of the things that I know is that men do not want the woman that they love to be hurting. And so her more challenging feelings, her more difficult feelings, her hurt, her disappointment, her frustration, her anger, those are things that are very, very difficult to sit with, especially if she is holding you responsible. Now, the one thing I have to tell you is you are not responsible for her feelings. Nobody can make somebody else feel a certain way. Now, we can add or detract to somebody's happiness. We can do things that we know will lead to our partner feeling a certain way. And I highly recommend if you're doing that, please stop. But most of the time, we either don't know that our behavior is going to bring about this emotion in our partner. And so we're surprised because it wouldn't bring that emotion up for us. And that's okay. The difference is, are you willing to be curious about what's going on with her? Because I'm going to tell you, if you've ever tried to confront her emotions by telling her that she's overreacting or she took something the wrong way or she's just being ridiculous, if you're like most people, that has not gone well, right? And I get it. Her hard feelings make you uncomfortable. So while she has the obligation to do some self-analysis and figure out what about the situation ended up with her feeling that way, your job is to try to figure out how you might have contributed to that. And I'm not saying that you've done anything wrong. That is wrong is not the correct framework for this. But it's sort of like many, many years ago. I mean, my husband knows I have abandonment issues. And for my 40th birthday, he threw me a surprise party. And my husband is a horrible liar. And he was doing weird things. And it got my antenna up. And I was like a dog with the bone until I got him to tell me what the heck was going on. So basically, I ruined my own surprise party. Now, he was not intending to send me down that road. He had no idea that him planning a surprise party was going to trigger my feelings of abandonment. He was trying to do something nice. and it kind of blew up. Not kind of, it blew up in a big way. So the thing is that that's what triggers are. Triggers are these direct lines to your hurts, your traumas, her hurts, her traumas, and we frequently don't know about them. Now, when those emotions show up, that becomes an opportunity, right? But how she feels, how you feel, how I feel, it's all legitimate. Nobody gets to tell us that we're wrong to feel that way. In fact, usually if they do, it doesn't go well. And part of this is learning how to be present when she is having some of these more challenging feelings. And also learning how to put a little bit of space between you and those feelings. Even if she is blaming you, I'm going to tell you, you are not at fault. You may have done something that led her to choose to feel this way, right? And again, it's fair to address the behavior that comes along with any of those feelings. But to dismiss the feelings out of hand, it's not going to work. And so this idea of somebody, she is right about her feelings. You are right about yours. Now, learning how to handle all of that is advanced relationship skills, which most of us don't learn because most of us will just take it. My partner says I'm at fault. I'm not at fault. I'm going to defend myself, and we're off to the races. Being able to step back and ask curiosity questions, ask deeper questions to help her figure out why she is having this particular feeling. Not to discount the feeling, but to help figure out how you as a couple want to deal with these situations. So if you're actually interested in learning how to do that, I invite you to get in touch with me. I also invite you to continue, if you like these videos, to subscribe to the channel. And you can reach me by email at Lesli, L-E-S-L-I, at foundationscoachingnc.com. That's F-O-U-N-D-A-T-I-O-N-S, coaching, N as in Nancy, C as in Charlie.com. Because this is one of the areas that can cause real challenges in a relationship. And so I would love to help you overcome them. So until next week, stay loving.